Okay, the proposal. We have Beeb in the background sleeping. We're ready to go. So I am so excited to tell you guys this story. I totally get lost in it, so please bear with me. But I have to start from the very beginning. So first and foremost, August 2005, me and Matthew were up on the cliff in Spokane, Washington, and he told me that he wanted to marry me this time next year. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I'm all about it, but I just don't think it's going to happen. He's like, why not? We're not going to get our parents' approval. We're 17 years old. We're not going to get our parents' approval. He's like, okay, you go home and talk to your mom. I'll go home and talk to mine, and we'll see what we come up with. I'm like, all right. So I get home, and my mom's on the deck. It's a beautiful summer afternoon, and I sit down next to her, and I'm like, Mom, I want to talk to you about something. She's like, okay. And I'm like, me and Matthew decided we want to get married this time next year. She looks away from me, and she starts bawling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've upset my mom. What am I going to do? She looks back at me and she says, these are tears of joy. I cannot imagine a better man for you. You guys are soulmates. I'm all about it. So I call Matthew. Matthew gets the same response from his parents, and we have to go ahead. So we kind of start planning and whatnot, but we also knew we'd run into a situation where we get a lot of rejection. You know, it was the summer before our senior year, so we wanted to make sure that we had a solid plan and we didn't just seem like two kids with a dream. So we really didn't want to tell a lot of people until we got a ring on my finger. So we told some of our good friends, and, well, good friends, and it spread through school like wildfire. So we had so much negativity. Our teachers would sit us down after class and tell us that we were making a mistake. We lost a lot of friends in the process. It was crazy, but we obviously didn't care. It was me and Matthew for life. We just knew we wanted to get married, and that was our plan. So December 15th, 2005 still, Matthew's dad buys me a ticket to Portland, Oregon. He had been on tour at that point for about a week or two, and he wanted me to come to that show. So Matt's dad bought me a ticket, and I show up. It was Rock and Roll Pizza in Portland, Oregon, and it was a sold-out show. And back then, band wives stood in the back. Now it's more so side stage, but it was kind of one of those things where if you were a girlfriend of a band member or a wife or anything like that, you stood in the back. You kind of weren't involved in anything. So I was really surprised when he asked me to stand up close to the stage, and I was like, are you sure? And he was like, stand right here. And the other band wives that were there were like, yeah, we'll come with you. We'll stand right there with you too. I'm like, all right. So then he's like, babe, come with me. Let me show you how I get up on stage. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? I still had no idea. I don't know how in the world. I had no idea. But I was like, all right. So I go with him, and he shows me how I get up on stage. I'm like, cool, babe. And so anyways, my favorite part of the whole thing was that there was two girls standing right in front of me during the show. And the whole time they're like, oh my gosh, he's so hot. We need to get his number. We'll see if he can come party with us tonight. Just being crazy kids. And I was like, oh, I wish he knew, I wish these girls knew that he was taken, but I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I thought it was kind of special at the same time. So, right when I'm thinking that, Matthew says, my girlfriend's here. Do you guys want to meet her? And a spotlight hits me, and then I realized why he wanted me to stand where he wanted me to stand, and I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, get up on stage. I was like, no. He's like, babe, come here. Come up on stage. I was like, I'm not coming up on stage. The other band wives pushed me up on stage. Thank God he showed me how to get up from the back. And I get out there, and the thing I'm leaving out is that this was a Christmas sweater party show. So I had this huge Christmas sweater on with a big Christmas tree brooch, just nasty. I was hot. There was these lights. There was all this sound. And from what everybody says, he said the sweetest things. I did not hear a word. And all of a sudden I look over, and he's down on one knee. Then the room went empty. Swear on my life, I felt like we were the only people in the room. I looked him in the eyes, I said yes, and I tackled him on stage, straight up in front of everybody, just tackled him. We fell over. But anyways, after the show, it was the one time, I think, that entire year that we felt accepted, that our decision wasn't based off of how old we were or how crazy we were or that we were making a mistake. People, not a single person asked us how old we were. Everyone was just like, congratulations. Our closest friends were there, which was great. Obviously, the band and the wives of the band were there. It was an amazing proposal, and I could not ask for anything better. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was as extravagant as you guys would have thought it would have been. And I will do my best to get another video up soon. I was off today, and I love telling the story. I was like, I am all about the proposal today. So I will see you guys soon. Mwah.